Dear Mother, I suppose by this time you will know that we are in the trenches and will be anxiously watching the papers for news from me. I have much to tell you and will get about it, as I don't know how many minutes I will have to myself. We have been 8 days in the trenches on the firing line and have just come out for a few days' rest. It seems months since we left England. A week ago, Monday night, 20th, we were told to get ready as we were to take over part of the British line of trenches. About 10 o'clock that night, we found ourselves under fire for the first time. By midnight, we were banging away at the Germans in front of us. It is certainly a new experience to most of us to know that the moment we show ourselves, we sign our death warrant. 2 or 3 of our fellows will never see home again. Our casualties for the 8 days were 2 killed and several wounded. Nobody was hurt in our company. Talk about life in the trenches. I wish you could see me now. I am coated in mud to my ears. It rained the last 3 or 4 days we were in, and the trenches are by no means dry. We slept in a hole made in the side of the trench, and with our wet clothes, the nights were pretty cold. We had to go after rations and water every night by a road right in sight of the Germans. It used to get quite hot sometimes. When we first went in, we would duck our heads every time we heard the ping of a bullet, but we soon got used to it, so that at the last, the screeching and bursting of shells over our heads did not bother us. We sometimes had narrow escapes from being hit by flying shrapnel. We were in the trenches when the French made their big drive. For a while there was some noise of guns, and shells were whistling over our heads in all directions. The engagement was some distance from us, but we heard it all right. It sounded like hundreds of heavy thunderstorms put into one. The morning we were relieved, the shrapnel was bursting around us in our trench. Bang! There goes a battery of artillery. We are now in billet in a bar about a mile from the trenches. We are supposed to be resting, but I guess they think we are mules rather than men. The rest consists of trench digging. I got your letters and the box of candy and things from the friends at home. It reached me in the trenches, and I was dying for a taste of candy. Thank all the friends very much. Oh yes, socks come in quite handy. Our feet soon get wet in the trenches, and a change feels good. I received your letters and the box of candy and things from the friends at home. It reached me in the trenches, and I was dying for a taste of candy. Thank all the friends very much. Oh yes, socks come in quite handy. Our feet soon get wet in the trenches, and a change feels good. The 22nd Battalion has 3 German soldiers who gave themselves up. They said they had been forced to fight and were almost starving. It's sad to think about what they must have gone through, but at the same time, it is a harsh reality that we all face here. Hunger is one of the greatest enemies in the trenches, and many of our own men have been struggling with it. The food, when it arrives, is a relief, but it is never enough. There is no way to guarantee that we have what we need to survive in such an inhospitable environment. Even with our determination, there are times when the feeling that we are being driven to the edge of our limits seems unbearable. In any case, these German soldiers in surrendering bring up an important point. War does not choose sides, not even those who conduct it. Many of us here are just pieces on a big board, forced to play a game that we did not choose. They were, just like us, following orders, fighting not by choice, but out of necessity or pressure. Sometimes I wonder how many of us, if we were on the other side, wouldn't do the same. The prospect of being forced to be part of a war that isn't ours is a sad reality, but one that becomes clearer every day. I have seen so much in the past few days. The horrors of the trenches, the incessant sound of artillery fire, and the cries of wounded men struggling to survive. I think about everything I've left behind and what the future holds for me. Sometimes I'm not sure what makes me more anxious, the present with its battles and uncertainties, or the future with its promises of reconstruction, but also with the shadow of what we've been through. War changes everyone, but does it transform us forever? Will we be able to return to what we were before all this? The German soldiers who surrendered made me think about the other side of the battle. They said they were almost starving, and that touched me deeply. Here we are, fighting for something we believe is bigger than us, but at the same time we see men who, deep down, are fighting for the same things: survival, dignity, a better future. They, like us, didn't choose this path. In the end, this makes me think about the shared humanity between us and the others, regardless of which side of the war we're on. Furthermore, our own situation is not easy. Life in the trenches, as I've already mentioned, is marked by long hours of waiting, constant fear, and above all, exhaustion. It's a weariness that isn't limited to the physical, but seeps into the soul. Sometimes I find myself wondering about the reason we're here. The fight for freedom, for the country, for our loved ones, seems like a noble ideal, but in reality, the war is so desolate that we question whether it's worth it. The pain, the suffering, the loss of friends, all these elements make the reason we're here difficult to see clearly. Does the freedom we seek justify the pain we are enduring? When the war is over, will we be able to find meaning in all of this? In quieter moments, when we manage a brief break from the trenches, I sit and reflect on everything I've lived through so far. The smell of the wet earth, the distant sound of bombs, and the sight of my comrades, all sharing the same anguish, make me wonder what the future will be like. Will we be able to resume our lives? Will we, when all of this is over, be able to look back and feel that the fight was just... Sometimes I don't even know what awaits me when I go back home, if I go back. The idea of returning to a safe place, yet at the same time far from the reality we are living here, gives me a strange feeling. There is no easy answer to these questions. War never leaves room for certainty. But while we are here, we try to find some way to keep our humanity intact. Amid the horrors, there are moments of kindness, shared laughter, mutual support. Even in the most extreme conditions, we manage to find something to keep us motivated. And it is this camaraderie that, in the end, makes everything more bearable. Each of us is responsible not only for our own survival, but for the survival of the other. When one man falls, the rest of us must carry on to honor his memory, to ensure his fight wasn't in vain. We, the men of the front line, know that our time here may be limited. The weight of death is always upon us, whether by the distant sound of explosions or by the simple fact that we know we can't escape it. Each day is a battle against uncertainty, and yet there is something in us that makes us press on. Perhaps it is the idea that, as difficult as it may be, the fight has a purpose, and that is what keeps us strong. The purpose of protecting those we love, of fighting for a future where, hopefully, peace can finally prevail through all of this. I think about home. During those moments of rest, I close my eyes and imagine myself in a safe place, in a room, lit by candles, with the smell of dinner being prepared and the voice of my loved ones in the background. This gives me strength to continue. Imagining what's to come, even though it's uncertain, is what keeps us alive. And when the war is over and all the horrors are just distant memories, I hope to return to the life I left behind, a life where the simple things, like sitting with family and sharing a meal, will have immeasurable value. It's hard to explain everything we're going through here. Even words seem insufficient to convey the daily pain and struggle. But at the same time, we've also become stronger. We are no longer the same men who arrived here. The war shapes us, transforms us, teaches us to survive. Some of us, however, carry scars that may never be erased. Those losses, those faces we will never see again, will stay with us forever. I will reply to all letters as soon as possible. With love to all, Ken.